Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to be front of house ready for your worship services. Over the last few months, I've been on a bit of a run, going over the rig, covering everything from amps to overdrive, modulation, even doing deep dives on those, as well as delay and reverb. And today we're going to put a bit of a cap on that series, and we're going to go over signal chain. Real quick, this video is also a part of a blog series on the website where I go a bit deeper on settings and recommendations for you as you're getting started on your tone journey. Your signal chain is just as much personal preference as it is right and wrong, so we'll go over the best practices, and then I'll point out areas that you may want to experiment in rearranging how things are set up. I know for me, on my pedal board, I moved everything around in every place as far as my drive section and trying to figure out what sounded right, and then even my placement of things on the ambient side. So to kick it off, this is going to be really only if you're running a pedal board, but if you have a vintage fuzz, you're going to want to have that first. You got your guitar with the cable. That needs to go straight into that vintage fuzz because they are impedance sensitive, and every pedal is going to change the impedance of things. And so your guitar going straight in is going to be what sounds best for that. Even if you're running a vintage style fuzz on your all-in-one, you might like that better as your first effect. Now, after that is going to be the compressor. And here again, we're just going over effect pedals, not utility pedals like buffers or things like that. So after your fuzz, you're going to want to have your compressor. And here I experimented with that where I had my compressor after my drive section. And the thing I came back to putting it first is that I wanted each overdrive that I stepped on to be able to add more dynamics and bloom, and the compressor coming in after that just kind of reduced those dynamics in a way that I didn't love. And that being said, I was using and still am, a Boss CS3, and that doesn't have a mix control, so it's all compressed signal. But that might be something you want to experiment where your compressor goes. After compressor can be a good spot for what I refer to as modulation 1. And modulation 1 is going to be your phasers and flangers and possibly your chorus. Having those go in front of your drive section will allow your drive section to kind of dictate the overall tone. Those effects will be a little bit more subtle. And my thought behind that is like Van Halen ran a phaser and his distortion all came from his amp. So just the phaser going into the distortion. And so I like to reference kind of when people didn't have any choices, how were they doing things? And it's a lot of that stuff is what we grew up hearing. And so that's kind of the audible reference is those recordings. And so that's a good spot for phaser and flanger, possibly even chorus. And then we're going to go into the drive. And that can be happening with, if you're not using a vintage fuzz, you got your fuzz next, distortion, overdrive, and preamp. And that's kind of the general order of things. But here again, you're going to want to move around your distortion, whether it comes in at the beginning of your chain, somewhere in the middle, or more towards the end. Because for me, I picked up a rat clone, and I thought I would have it early in the chain. And even if other effects weren't on, it was real noisy. So I kept moving it one pedal at a time until it got to where it was nice and quiet. It's still a little bit noisy because it's a distortion, and that's what they do, but it wasn't overly unusable. So I have it as third from the end of my chain and after really my crunchy drive. So that's definitely a point you're going to want to experiment with, how you have your drive section stacked up. So after your drive section, once you've got all that set up, we've got what I refer to as modulation 2, which is going to be your tremolo, your rotary effects like the Leslies and things like that, vibe effects. That stuff is going to come after, and that's because you want them to be a bit more active in affecting your tone. So another point here is that maybe you want them to be before or after your delay. So that's a point of experimentation. The idea is that your driven tone or your clean tone, whatever it is that you're sending toward your amp, is going to hit these effects, and then they'll do their thing, and then send your affected signal into your delay. So for example, if I'm using a vibe or a tremolo, chorus not so much because that's still a pretty consistent signal. But with one of those other effects, my delay is not going to be real dominant. So I'm not worried about how my delay is reacting to a tremolo effect, because I've got the mix down on that anyway for that use. And then after that modulation 2 section, we've got delay. And then typically you're going to have your reverb. And so the thought here is that you've got a cleaner signal hitting your delay so that your delay repeats can be prominent. And then they hit your reverb, and then your reverb puts space behind everything or around everything, and then just presents that to the world. So if you put your delay after your reverb, you're going to get that space added around the signal before it hits the delay, and you're not going to get crisp repeats. That being said, if you're able to run more than one delay, and you've got one that you really like as that last effect, and you've got it set up in a way that is pleasing to your ears, then all the more power to you. Another point of experimentation is going to be whether your modulation, delay, and reverb are going in front of your amps, or if you're splitting them somewhere between your amps, your cabs, and after your amps. I've seen some comments. There was a gentleman that said he runs tremolo between the amp and the cab, and then delay and reverb after. So kind of a hybrid of placement for that. But whether you want to put them everything in front of the amps, a combination of things in between your amp and your cab, or everything after your amp and your cab, just moving things around, especially on these all-in-one units, is easy to do, and then you can immediately hear if it's something that you like or you don't like. On a pedal board, it's just a little bit more complicated because there's plugging and routing, but give yourself time to experiment, and you'll be able to figure out exactly how it is that you prefer it. And then after the amps, I'm going to run some tone sweeteners. I'm going to use something like the LA Studio Comp. I've got that set up just as a nice subtle sweetener on that. And then I'm going to bump the Holy mid-range. I was using a simple EQ, but I recently discovered the parametric EQ. And so I've got that set up where I am bumping a low frequency. It's like in the 200 range. And then you have Q control. So how wide of a span of that frequency are you going to bump? You have that, and then as well as decibels up or down. So I'm bumping whatever the 236 at the Q is just set at 1, so it's kind of tight on that low frequency. And then I'm bumping that, I think, 1.5 or 1 decibel. Then the Holy mid-range, which is 777 hertz. I've got the Q on that one at 1 as well, so it's real narrow on that. And then I'm bumping it 1 or so on that one. And then the high frequency, I think I found 2200 was the sweet spot. And then just bumping that, it doesn't really thin out the sound, which sometimes if you bump treble signal frequency too much, you can thin it out. Just enough to just give it a little bit of a crisp finish. And then I don't use the low cuts or the high cuts since I have those on the amps and cabs anyway. But that's how I like to wrap it up. And that way it sends a nice finished tone to front of house. I hope you found this one helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. I'd love to hear your secrets, if you don't mind sharing, some ways that you mix things up, and maybe you've got stuff in an order that is even contrary to what I shared, and it works for you. I love hearing about those things, and I'm sure everyone else would love to as well. If you're interested, you can find that the Signal Chain Quick Guide at that link in the description box below. It's the free downloads for the Sunday Starter Pack, which is available for HX Stomp, Helix, and Helix Stadium. That quick guide is going to be available in each of those packs, as well as just a standalone download if you aren't interested in the presets. All right, hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.